the system that is handicapping people in this financial world is a system that causes 97% of people to be unable to retire comfortably. 97% of people can't retire comfortably. 97 out of, I went through and told y'all 7 out of 10 earn less than $30,000. So maybe because they're using their own Social Security number or disability, but they're still not living comfortably. They're just saying, I'm on disability, so I'm not going to earn any more. I'm not going to go into real estate because if I earn more money than that, they're going to stop my disability.
Yeah, that's true.
I've heard it.
How can that feel like?
Yeah, it is.
That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, real.
I got 10. Oh, yeah.
And it actually isn't true.
97% of people can't retire comfortably. 34% don't have anything put away. 34. You know, we sit in this room, we say it's a shame, but I'm talking about these real numbers that you guys especially, you in here in the room talking about money. That's not the norm. You realize that, right?
Oh,
It's a small population that is very unique. 34% don't have anything put away, which is kind of where my heart's at and why I came here tonight. 34% don't have anything put away, and then 58% don't know their numbers. 58% don't know their numbers. So how can you have a plan if you don't have your numbers?
You can.
But that's what people do day in, day out in their careers. Because they don't know what they don't know. Because they rely on someone that has a title. So bringing it back to my story. So as I was leaving the military in 2001, I knew that there was a window of time because of back in the time when I was actively doing real estate like that. I was just getting started. In that time, I had to have a history of income. Do you guys ever remember that time where you had to have a history of income from meaning your job? Mm-hmm. So if you were in between jobs, then you no longer have a history of income. Mm-hmm. That was my story. See, I was leaving the military. My career was the military. And I realized that I was in terminal leave. If I didn't take action right then I would no longer have a history of income. I was going to be starting as a civilian. So I just read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How many? Ready?
How many
Okay.
times?
Okay. So I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This started in April. And so as I finished it up in April of 2001, 90 days after reading that, I acquired over $1 million in assets. Including, well, here's the storyline. So the first thing I did was, I said, okay, I gotta go. I got a limited time. I gotta go ahead and make something happen. So I started looking in the paper, looking. I came across one property. Okay, the property was a townhome, Arlington, Virginia. Saw it, numbers on paper. Went by to see it. Okay, great. Put an offer on it. Continue to look. Came across another property, same phone number. Oh, what logically, what did I say?
This guy got money.
Huh?
But it's got a bunch of property or something.
This guy got some money. This guy
Guys
got
got something to do something, right?
Yeah.
More so than that, it's the same owner. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm
same owner. Yeah.
You know, I just said, hey, this is the same guy.
Same guy.
So let me see if I can make a deal. If the same number, two different properties, then let me see if I can work out something with this guy. And that's what I did. I called him up, and we met. And it was then able to build rapport. You know, something about having good relationship skills. Mm-hmm. Formed a relationship, got the deal put together, and he had a conversation with me. He said, let me ask you a question. This was an older guy, and experienced, and seasoned. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, when's enough enough? That's what he asked me. Mm-hmm. This is an old guy asking me when's enough enough. And I said, you know, I'm not really chasing anything, so I'll just stop when it's good, whenever it's comfortable. And he said, no, you won't stop. And it could have been truthful with what he said. He probably was speaking from wisdom, but the truth of the matter, what I said to him was real, because I said at 19, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I know wasted of my life. So I couldn't see a thing about stopping, but nor was I chasing, because I had come to a realization about life and death. I was just at a point of understanding that every day I've got to live. I got to live in fullness every day. And so I made that deal with him, and the time was still ticking. I didn't have the money when I made those deals. I mean, again, I was just leaving the military. but I had some good credit because I had a plan and I started doing things to get some credit in place, and my good credit looked like credit cards. That's what my good credit was. My good credit wasn't loans. My good credit was I had credit cards. And so I was tapped out though, because one property was 225, the other one was 250. So there was some big in properties. And so, but I still looked, because I said I gotta still go looking, because I've learned always that the money will follow the deal. The money will follow the deal. In anything, we have no shortage of ideas and opportunities. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. I want to invite you guys to become entrepreneurs, not real estate investors. I want to get you to become entrepreneurs. I want you to become problem solvers, because entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and see, we need to solve problems because there are tons of problems out there, right? Yes. Your money has a problem that it needs to solve, and you need to figure out what problem it needs to solve so you can have the courage to go get some more money so that you can go solve more problems. Different perspective, isn't it? You need to assign your money to work, and its job is to solve problems. You're the boss, so it's on you to go find problems and make your money go to work. That's what's going to be in the conversation that I'm going to talk about how to increase the landscape as well. So, in that moment, I continued to look, and I came across a property that was in a location I had no idea was located at. And the property that I came across was an apartment complex. Are there any of you that ever bought an apartment complex?
Not yet.
Not yet? That's not interesting, though. Biggest units that you've had? How many units? 6?
Yeah, 4.
4? 5? Okay. My very first investment property was a 4-unit. I was living in Virginia. I bought it in Athens, Georgia. My very first investment property I was an absentee, and it was a multi-unit. That newspaper that day after I had just picked up and put under contract that 225 and that 250 property, that next property that I came across was a 40-unit apartment complex. 40. A 40-unit apartment complex that was located 3 hours away from me that I had no idea where it was located. Never knew the city. Kind of excited. It kind of piqued my interest. Yeah. So I started doing the paper. I just started doing the numbers on paper. And the way I thought about it, and what I want to encourage each of you to think about it, all things moving forward, when you're talking about having a plan and then having a system, is that I want you to have a systematic thought process to evaluating opportunities without any limitations to them, because you're a problem solver. And as I crunched the numbers, what I concluded was that these numbers look good. And what I concluded was, if I drive to this property, because of course what they were doing is asking me to come take a look at it. My rule is I don't need to look at anything. All I need to do is look at it on paper. Mm-hmm. I do my work there because I can make good money off of bad numbers. Yeah. Then when I go take a look, the only thing I'm doing is trying to confirm everything that I just did.
Yeah.
No emotions to it at all, because that's a system that I have to do that.
Yep.
How to think versus what to think.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
And so what I did was I then went up to see the property, and then lo and behold, I saw the property, and everything that I thought about it was confirmed. Then it was a matter of, well, how the hell am I going to come up? How am I going to buy this? I have the money. Got to solve the problem. But the first thing is got to get terms. So with the terms, I said, well, how much can I come up with? Well, I figured I can come up with 5%. How? Beg, borrow, steal. Mm-hmm. Not literally steal, but you got to go through the process of trying to ask. Got to ask. And what I was able to do is I was able to negotiate a deal with the owner, who happened to be, I don't know if you guys know this guy, that E.T. movie, I think.
Steven Spielberg?
No, actor, the big eyes, Macy.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
William H. Macy.
William H. Macy? Okay, so William H. Macy's uncle is the person that I bought that 40-unit apartment complex from in Maryland.
Did he finance you?
Yeah, seller
Okay.
financing. Yeah. So we did an 80-15-5.
Okay.
80% from the seller, 15% from the bank, and then 5% down payment. So we carried a second note.
Here's a second note.
Yep. And that was the end result of actually taking action based upon having a plan that I knew the constraints. And I'll tell you that if you're looking at those numbers I talked about earlier about this retirement danger, realize that you have whatever your individual constraints are. That's why it's important to come to a standstill, to stop and assess your situation so that you can make sense out of what it is that you're doing in this game called real estate. Because, as I said, 97% of people don't have enough to retire comfortably. So no matter how good someone looks or how good you may sound or what you might fit, I want you to know that you're not alone. So the most valuable thing you guys can do in a group like this is start opening up and actually start to communicate so that you can figure out what you're going to do together, because you're unique. You're like a team. And once you start to develop a certain degree of trust, then what happens, secret number 3 comes into play. Secret number 1 was you got to have a plan. Secret number 2 was you got to have a system. Secret number 3 is you got to have a plan. You got to have a team. Team takes all types of shapes and forms. When I think about a team, I'm thinking about the different players that are in. And in Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, I've got this is kind of like a playbook, and I have some in the back of the room, and they're 25. But this here, if you like the vibe in which I'm sharing with you, let me tell you what separates this book out from others. I told you that I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and 90 days after reading it, I took action, and it led to $1 million in assets in 90 days, which led to my peak of 5 million holdings. That's what my real estate, personal real estate portfolio is. That covered Virginia, Maryland, Georgia, Florida. It's what allowed me to walk away from a phenomenal job as a defense contractor, because that's when I was that transition. When I was leaving the military, I became a systems analyst for the Missile Defense Agency. And I left that job because I was just unfulfilled, because I was in a cubicle. I was bored. And I had done my MBA at George Washington University, financial planning at Georgetown University, and I wanted to get into business, and that wasn't happening what I was doing. And so as I was getting cold called by people, because I said I made my first million by 32, and I started getting cold called by people, they didn't know that I had my background, MBA in financial planning, and they didn't know I was actually looking for an advisor. I was looking for an advisor not because I didn't know what to do. I was looking at an advisor because in the military what I learned was the effectiveness of delegation. What I learned in the military was that I was able to have people that were able to do their job and not have to be the expert, but still be able to spot check. See, all of you have to be the commanders of your own business. All of you have to be the CEOs of your own business. You've got to develop a certain competency so that you can in turn effectively spot check, supervise, delegate if you want to get to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's the situation I was. So I was getting these cold calls by people, and I asked them a couple of questions. The question number 1 was, would you mind sharing with me your personal financial statement? And number 2 was, would you mind sharing with me your personal financial plan? And the thing was, I didn't care about how much money they made. That had no bearing at all. What I wanted to understand was their thought process. I wanted to understand their role that they saw that they were to play. But because of how they responded to me, they wasn't comfortable in their own skin, because, face it, you may not know this, but they're salespeople. That's their job.
Yeah.
And so they're used to being the one that has the information, right? And so because of how they responded to me, because they obviously didn't do their research, they didn't know my background, that's what made me wonder if they were just salespeople, which is what led me to coming back south. Because I was just having my daughter Nadia, who's now 12. I made a decision to walk away from that great job and accept a position with UBS Financial Services in Jacksonville, Florida, and move to Jacksonville sight unseen. in order to go into financial services so I can see what they were being taught. I wanted to see what they were being taught. I wanted to see if they were just salespeople or not. I needed to confirm what I was suspecting.
Right.
And I knew within a week of being in Jacksonville that my background, my experiences, my successes didn't matter. I knew within a week that I needed to have enough people saying he's a great guy. My job wasn't dependent upon my ability to help people become financially free or reach retirement. My job was gathering assets under management, hence sales, on behalf of a company. And so when I left UBS, I left to become CFO of a company that was, we were 155, maybe 500 fast growing companies, with that information in my back pocket saying, you know what, there's an opportunity for me to really help a lot of people by giving them what the bankers and brokers don't tell them.